When small choices cross your path this week, consider what is right versus what is easy. Choose what's right. Good morning, everybody. That's a little weekly wisdom from the Self Journal. And on this morning, it seemed like the most appropriate quote to start the day. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 108 of the All-Around-Growth podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. This is a show that gives you some insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. Today is Monday, March 1st, 2021, and I am running a little bit late this morning, and it seemed like it was a good day to do an episode of Deeper Talk. Now, real quick, what's got me running late this morning is putting together some notes for a phone call with my brother and sister later tonight to review the State of the Farm meeting that we had with our parents a few months ago. And in the process of doing so, it got me thinking of the Oddfellows Creed, or the historic command of the Oddfellows, which is to visit the sick, relieve the distressed, bury the dead, and educate the orphan. And it may sound morbid, but burying the dead is part of what we talked about during the State of the Farm meeting several months ago. And funeral arrangements will be part of what's being discussed tonight. Luckily, we're not at that point yet, but we are trying to be proactive, and I failed to take the time or make the time to go through these notes this weekend, so I spent this morning doing exactly that, which put me a little bit behind schedule with regard to assembling the show notes. And luckily, I have thought this out a little bit in advance, and we've got a easy to do episode in the form of a Deeper Talk episode. So, for those of you who don't know, who have never heard this kind of episode before, what exactly is the Deeper Talk episode? Or what exactly is Deeper Talk? It's a deck of cards, and normally I've got the prompt of what this is, but I don't have that in my notes today. But I've got the little card here. Now, the Deeper Talk deck was developed as an expansion of the Icebreaker deck because people wanted more questions about that, about that. And the questions, you see, there's a deck of cards, 150 cards, and the 150 cards are split across 6 different categories. And those categories are dreams, life lessons, exposed, courage, beliefs, self-awareness. And every time I do a little Deeper Talk episode, I pull a card at random and spend the duration of the commute waxing philosophical about that subject. So let's see, what do we want to do? Beliefs, courage, exposed, life lessons. Let's do something with life lessons. Let's pull a card out here and then hit the road. All right, here we go. What decision are you grateful you didn't make? Boy, that's a difficult question. What decision are you grateful you didn't make? All right, my friends, I struggle with this, all right, because I struggle with all of these Deeper Talk questions. But the decision... All right. See, this is a tricky question, because I'm a big believer when it comes to decision making. I'm a big believer in that there's a big difference between making a decision and taking action. Now, I've talked about this a lot in past episodes and have made the analogy of the 3 frogs on a log. And if you haven't heard that, there's 3 frogs on a log. One decides to jump off. How many remain? The answer is 3. And nothing changes until one of those frogs doesn't simply make the decision, but takes the action and jumps. We can make decisions all day long, but unless we act upon them, those decisions don't mean shit. All right? So, what decision are you grateful you didn't make? What decisions do I not have to make on a daily basis? Hell, I guess it doesn't even need to be on a daily basis. This is a difficult question. But this is also why I like this Deeper Talk deck, because it gives me an opportunity to have deep conversations with friends, family, loved ones, and I'd encourage you to check this out. I mean, it's a cool thing. I've linked to it in the show notes, and I've also linked to the little code that you can use to get some savings. Geese are flying, birds are chirping, it's March 1st, and it feels a little bit more like spring than it has throughout the month of February. The decision that I'm grateful I didn't make. My God, this is tough. All right, I'm gonna spin this because I'm on my way to work, and I'm going to be doing work stuff all day. Now, I'm in a position at work where I need to solve problems. I need to figure out solutions in terms of the best way to handle the problems that we have, and specifically with our inventory. Now, there's a number of solutions, many or most of which we choose not to implement and execute because the process of doing so is apparently harder than the process of making the change is apparently harder and more difficult and not worth it than the end result of having a more complete inventory system. Now, had I made the decision to implement these changes effectively, well, I did, quite frankly. But the powers that be, upper management, decided that my proposed solutions were no bueno. So we did not do that. we did not implement them. We do not execute most of what I suggest. And I'm grateful that I am not the one making the decision to not do these things. Because I'm the one that's proposed solutions. And I am not the one who is unwilling to compromise and unwilling to change and unwilling to modify processes in order to obtain the end result that we all collectively seek. So, what does that mean? It means that it sucks, all right? But it also means that consistently, on a daily basis, I find myself in a unique position that encourages me, for lack of a better term, to reframe my perspective and see the reality that I find myself in through a completely different lens. Because I don't have, well, I do have options. I have plenty of options. But right now, after a lot of thought and consideration, the best option for me today, right here, right now, is to continue on the path that I'm currently on. And quite frankly, this path is on the morning commute. To the day job that appears to be interested in solutions to the problems that we have, decides that we want to move forward with making change, but not really making as much change as we'd like to make. So, so what? So at the end of the day, the decisions to not execute on proposed solutions is a decision that I'm glad I don't have to make. Because as far as I can tell, it's an action that doesn't really make sense to me. And I don't understand why we do the things that we do. So, in turn, I do the best that I can to try and maintain a healthy, positive, and beneficial attitude as much and as frequently as possible. But ultimately, I think it's worth pointing out one last thing, that actions don't mean anything, or decisions don't mean anything, rather, until you take action on them. 3 frogs on a log. All right, so I hope that this show is of value to you. If you think the Deeper Talk deck is a cool idea, check out the show notes, check out the links there. You'll find a code YMF, short for York Meadow Farm, that will give you 15% off of your first order if you choose to utilize that code. There are links to all past episodes in the show notes as well. And if you've got any questions or feedback for me, I would encourage you to reach out in the Telegram group t.me/allaroundgrowth, or shoot me an email, allaroundgrowth@gmail.com. All right, everybody, that is about it for today. Remember, differences between decisions, differences between actions. One doesn't mean anything unless you actually pull the trigger on it and move. So, thank you for listening. I sure do appreciate you tuning in. And while this episode may not have been the most exhilarating or exciting episode, if you found some value in it and you like what you hear, share it with a friend, share it on social media, just share it with someone, get the word out there. I'm hoping to reach as many people as possible and see if we can get this as much of a part of your life as it is a part of mine. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.